In the glittering heart of West Hollywood, a harsh reality lurks just under the surface as people living on the streets struggle with poverty and severe mental illness. The CARE Act, slated to take effect statewide in December 2024, acknowledges this growing crisis, but its proposed solution has been met with criticism as both inhumane and unconstitutional. Advocates for the homeless argue that California possesses the resources to fund essential care and affordable housing while still safeguarding dignity and privacy. California already grapples with a severe shortage of providers, facilities, and affordable housing units. But despite this, the CARE Act neglects to allocate any funding for housing and fails to introduce new rights or benefits for unhoused people. Instead, it risks triggering the widespread institutionalization of unhoused people battling mental illness. But in the midst of hysteria and politically expedient solutions, we overlook what truly matters: the human element. I spoke with those impacted by homelessness in West Hollywood, exploring life on the streets, policing and surveillance, and the struggle to survive in a post-COVID world.
My name's Jefferson. I've lived out here for 3 years. I grew up in Orange County, but while I'm out here in Hollywood, I don't have a residency all the time. I'm an artist, so I like hanging out in a certain area where my interests are. And you know what's cool about Hollywood? That there really are stars that jump in their car and they drive around. It brings a little moral boost when you see something like that. The place has changed a lot. Life's never been easy out here. I've seen a lot of people come and go. I know some people that have been out here homeless because of their family. Some people come out here and they're homeless because they want to experience life and see what things happen. But like a lot of people are caught in the moment. It's hard and discouraging. It can be real scary. And some places it can go really bad, Know your boundaries. I don't encourage tenting. I mean, if you have a tent, sit it up on the sidewalk. Just have it up in the morning before the store owner comes out and pisses on you. Or don't piss all over the side of the street. When I tented, I used it because it gets cold at night. I like to sleep in a bed sometimes, and that's the closest I can get from a bed. It's cheaper than paying $500, $600 for a motel room. I go downtown and try not to get busted by the cops or whatever.
Yeah, what are they like out here now?
I don't regret the policies that they keep because I know in the long run they really do have some safety, Doesn't mean it always happens, though.
I know what you mean. I kind of have a complicated relationship with the sheriffs out here. But
yeah, I worry like if I got a place, they would boot me out and they'd take me right away.
What do you mean?
Well, I feel kind of discarded. I always have that fear.
Since the lockdowns and COVID, have you noticed any difference?
I have. That was horrible. Like, you couldn't buy anything. That's a little bit scary when you got to tell the whole United States, start wearing a mask. Stand 6 feet away. I saw a lot of stuff like separating people and arguments. I mean, if it happens again, the closure, I hope they handle it better. If you're going to do that, master the economy and know what you're doing.
What's the attitude of the people around here towards homeless people?
They're aware of people that are homeless, but when you look at somebody, you can't just say, oh, they're homeless. It's morally wrong. Because the people I know, they're homeless because they don't have a house. And it didn't have anything to do with drugs. It didn't have to do anything with gangs, people, nothing. You know what I had to do with? Where I was going to lay my head down at night. I've had to sleep on the sidewalk. I've had to sleep in old burnt-out buildings. Like, trying to make the best of it. If it was truly up to me, I would have already opened up that front door, closed it, and probably went to watch some TV. Here's another thing. I like programs that go out and feed people. When I was in a community of giving, in a system that worked, you could tell the difference. It changed things so fast. That's another one that works. I've seen homeless kids excel by just getting books and bags and applying for a job, learning how to do an application. There's ways to get people off the street. Always use county, city programs. They're there for a reason.
Is there anything else you want to say?
We all look for happiness and stuff like that, and I guess that's what makes us human. I don't know, bro. I'm happy today.
So what's your name?
Hello. Life right now is just, as you can see, people are just kind of trying to bounce back and get things rolling again. That's what I'm doing as well. Stuff kind of put me back a little bit, so trying to bounce back. I'm 22. Yeah, I was going to school. COVID happened, kind of shut down my classes. I stopped going, lost my job, and got evicted. It was a lot. I'm 22 now. That was 19, 20, 21 going through that. So it was a lot for everybody.
I remember when this place, for a while, they weren't letting people in that weren't vaccinated. Did you remember that? Do you have any thoughts on that?
About the vaccinations, yeah, it's just a lot of things were shut down. People couldn't go places that they needed to go, take care of things that they needed to take care of, me included. It was hard, couldn't get into places for this vaccination. So yeah, it was like a big shock, and people are just now like realizing how heavy that was with bouncing back, seeing how long and how hard that journey, is going to be.
Yeah, I know what you mean. For me, I lost my job because they started requiring the vaccines, but I'm kind of just worried about they bring back the mandates.
Yes, yeah, same. Yeah, if they bring that back, I don't know. That's going to be, I honestly hope they don't, just because some people have it, some people don't, but everybody needs to work. I don't think that should be another barrier that people have to face. I hope the next 3 years or the next, however long is a whole lot better than what it was, because these last couple years was just hard. Like, seriously, it was. So yeah, I just hope LA, California, bounce back. Yeah.
For real, it's been nuts.
Yeah, it has, seriously. Just hope everybody bounce back. Yeah, that's, kind of where I'm at with it.
My name's Armando Miranda. I have been a Los Angeles resident since 2000. The last 3 years since the pandemic, everything just went into fight or flight mode. You could see the ripple effect, even the job opportunities. I was really depressed, and so I just haven't really made an effort to go back onto payroll. I do things under the table to survive. I found peace throughout all of it. I have a lot of alone time. It seems like it's getting better, and then there's times where it's like, is it really? I noticed that the violence is increased since that pandemic. The encampments popped up everywhere. I know people have to do what they need to do, but it's a little annoying when you walk the sidewalk and you have to totally go a different route because you can't walk the sidewalk. The regular laws of being a civilian, laws that keep us protected, it's taking a weird twist. And I'm Jewish. I mean, it was really bad in the Jewish community. It was really bad. We had these small pockets of people, small armies, where they have their own tribal leader. When I was out there, I had to really pick my spot. I don't like that because you have your tent up, and I was just minding my own business. But people make your business their business. I've had someone literally go and try to sneak my pillow from underneath my head. I was like, seriously? I just couldn't believe it. People out there are just unlawfulness out there. I mean, I'm not saying police are the way to go. For most people, I see that people have mental illnesses. I don't think that police force is the right answer for that. They just recently had this stuff where they can offer them services, housing, give them information instead of just going and arresting them. I don't think being locked up can help. There's one in Palmer Park. I think if you're in need of these services, they have outreach.
Have you seen them around, those outreach people?
I seen them come once because I was like, why am I still out here?
So what's the deal with fentanyl, man?
It is such a game changer in the worst way. You just need a little bit and not be used to it, and it just take you out. Some people that I know, they say they had a heart attack, but it's just the family doesn't want other people to know that there's shame in the family. So they oh, he had a heart attack, but I'm sure they got dosed out and they didn't know they probably had fentanyl on it.
Do you see Narcan out there?
I see Narcan, watch this guy turn totally blue and purple, and he looked like he was about to die. And out of nowhere, this dude pulled out a thing of Narcan. He pumped one thing in one nostril, and the second he did two, his color started coming back. His eyes were started twitching again. And then when he woke up, he was already up 2 minutes before the ambulance came. Because had he waited till they came, he probably would have been dead. And then this dude was at the bus stop at Pavilions about a month and a half ago. This guy got my attention. He was laying down flat, looking like he's dead, right? And I'm like, oh my God, dude. And he was still breathing, but his breathing was getting slower and slower. And this dude looked like he was about to go any minute. So I ran inside and told the security guards that this guy's not looking sharp, dude. You might want to call the ambulance. And this lady was walking her dog past because you smell like urine really bad. It's like one of those grimy kind of people where they kind of like live in their situation full-fledged, not changing or bathing or anything. Like, I know, as stinky as this view was, I was still trying to see if there's any life. The next couple days, I seen one of the dudes that worked at Pavilion smoking a cigarette and stuff on his break. I was like, hey, the guy that was, the guy that died? I was like, oh.
That must be hard for you to see people like go down from the life.
I didn't even know it was this dude. I'd never seen him before. It's probably like, some wanderer from somewhere else and had a run-in with some really bad drugs or something. I'd never seen anybody die ever. It was just really traumatizing. It's like two realities, his and then the fact that there's people that just walk by. It was kind of an eye-opener. One thing I did help this dude do was not die alone. Everybody was just walking past him. That has to be the most thing to have to die and know that the world don't care about you. It just really was heartbreaking.
Tell us your name.
Jordan David. I advocate for public policy, try to help people who are in crisis, and generally just advocate for the community.
What's your assessment about the situation for unhoused people out here right now?
The situation for unhoused people is bad. The city claims to be a haven for public services, but it's really not. A lot of those funds get diverted into rich people's pockets. Law enforcement's interesting when it comes to unhoused people in West Hollywood because their main job is really to protect the visuals of brunch. Really what they do is they try to get people over the border of West Hollywood without people seeing like a visible beating up. But what they do is they get them into what they call a 4118 zone in LA, where LAPD will beat them up, will arrest them. That's really what our public safety dollars are being spent on.
So something I've been asking some of the community members that are experiencing homelessness is about the new surveillance measures, like the robots and the drones. Do you have any thoughts about that?
People that are unhoused simply need housing as a first step, and whatever building blocks are needed after that. Any kind of surveillance is really a waste of money. It's another form of violence and really unnecessary.
What else do you think is important for people to understand about the homelessness crisis?
It's a policy choice. We have way more already built, ready to go empty apartments in the county, in the city, in the country than we do unhoused people. We could house everybody overnight and still have a housing market. Landlords could still make their money. Our city leaders and the corporations behind them are deciding to keep people on the street. People don't become unhoused because they're lazy. Half of them have jobs. It's just important to understand that these are people. People who live in your neighborhood are your neighbors. They're not some crazy threat. So just to see people as your neighbors.
That's really
good. First step.
Do you have any thoughts about the CARES Court?
Yeah, so the CARES Court is a lie. The name is a lie. Right? It has nothing to do with care. This is a new wave of mass incarceration. It's a way to put people in warehouses. We already have that with the prison industrial complex, but this is kind of a way to disappear people who may or may not be able to be forced into labor. This is how the Nazi genocide started, seeing certain people in society as not deserving to live, disappearing them from public view, out of sight, out of mind. Anything can happen after that. Seeing people as human is a great first step, but it's not enough. We need to be advocating for people to actually access housing.
Earlier this year, Disability Rights California and the Public Interest Law Project filed a lawsuit against Governor Newsom seeking to end CARE Court, prioritize housing, and preserve individuals' rights to choose their own treatment paths. However, the California Supreme Court declined to block the CARE Act, leaving unhoused people in West Hollywood and beyond left to bear an even more uncertain future. For KPFK Rebel Alliance News, this is West Siegmiller.